Hey, college sports fans, Clemson has had a big day in recruiting here in mid-May with the addition of running back Gary Walker, consensus four-star. We're going to take a close look at what's going on for the Tigers and how he's going to fit. I'm Bill Zimmerman. This is the Reign Supreme All-A podcast, season 5, and we are talking about class of 2027 recruiting for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers.
I'm Daniel Shirley. Garrett Walker is a really good running back, and in this state where I live in Georgia, and there are talented running backs all over the state. He's a top 10 back by Rivals and On Three, and most of the other uh, services that I looked at today when I saw this. And I know that Clemson had missed on a couple of guys. At least that's the theory that Clemson had missed on a couple of guys, but it could be this is the right guy. You hear this all the time. Oh, you didn't get your first choice. Well, maybe your third choice was the right one. And I always go back to Travis Etienne.
There you
Nobody
go.
was really that excited about him when Clemson got him late in the process. And maybe they weren't. Maybe they were excited, but nobody was really blowing up the social media and the internet when Clemson got a commitment from Travis Etienne, and then look what he became. So Wayne Gallman, right? Oh, you're just recruiting them because he's Robert Condici's teammate. That's the only reason that Clemson is signing him. Look what he became. And look what Robert Condici became. I mean, Wayne Gallman had a much bigger impact on a winning team than Condici did. I would say Ryan Carter did as well,
Yeah,
but he was on that team as well. So I mean, you don't want to brush with too broad of strokes here, but if you get a running back, a top 10 running back out of the state of Georgia, I think you got to be pretty excited about it. And I think that the Chad Morris effect is I think we're seeing that here with these commitments that we're going to talk about, these next couple of shows. You made the point to me when we were texting back and forth. Hope they can keep them. Hope they can hold on to them,
sure.
and that's always a part of it. But man, I think if you're a Clemson fan, you got to be really excited about this pickup.
Yeah, some very good vibes actually coming out of the quotes that Walker put out there today, and seems to really like the fit with Coach Chad Morris, with Coach CJ Spiller, with the way Clemson does things. And he talked about how he approached his recruiting and how it all had to fit and that it fit very well with Clemson. And I think if you have someone who is where they want to be, you got a better chance of keeping them around. I mean, that's first step. Get to signing day,
Yeah.
get on campus, get in class, and then get not only in class, but then to the start of the football season apparently is also a very big deal nowadays. Ask Wisconsin about the guy they lost to Miami a couple of years ago as a high school recruit, and a few others. So uh, to me, Walker's tape just jumps out as that sort of a little bit of everything. He's got very good speed, able to break away when he gets into the open field. He doesn't go down at first contact. He's able to power
Right.
through some things. And look, it's high school and it's all going to have to translate. But when you look at that tape, and I know you've gotten to see him play in a couple of games on television there in Georgia because of your proximity there, boy, does he look like he is capable and someone who you would say, hey, it's very similar to Gideon Davidson, knowing he was coming in and thinking, hey, this guy should be the starter. Well, there may be a year to wait for that to happen for Walker, but he sure looks like starter material on tape.
Yeah, I think so, Bill. And 6 foot 205. Yeah, look, from Creekside High School here in our state. He picked Clemson over Penn State, Florida State. Maybe there's some others in there. When's the last time Clemson had a win like this? It felt like it's been a while. You
Sammy
know,
Brown.
Sammy Brown, right? I mean, but it feels like that there's been so many misses in this class that this is a big one, and the official visits are starting. Could this be some momentum to Clemson getting back to the kind of classes that we've seen in previous years? Not that the last year, I think last year's class is going to turn out to be pretty good, but there were some dips there. And I don't think Clemson's ever, and Dabo points this out all the time, ever had the number one class. But when you're getting the kind of classes that they were getting, and then you see the difference in what they got recently, it starts to show up on the field. And this is a position of need. This is a position, there's been a lot of talk about, can CJ Spiller get these guys? Can he coach them up? And, if it takes Chad Morris coming in to help get them, so be it. I
Right.
mean, it's a it takes a village, right? And if this took a village, then I'm all for it. It's good on I'm good on it. So I just think he's a bruising kind of a back. I think, like you said, he's not he's not Phil Maffa, but he's not going down with first contact
Right.
very often, and I think that is really really exciting to see.
If he, I didn't see a lot of pass catching in his highlights. Maybe it's there, but he kind of feels like a style of running specifically, a little bit of Will Shipley style there, a little bit of ETN, a little bit of Gallman. Like, I never like to say, hey, he is this guy, but you can see those elements of those three recent standout running backs there for Clemson, doing a nice job. 1,600 plus yards as a junior last season, 20 TDs, I believe is a number I saw. Certainly capable. And like you said, it's Georgia football, and Clemson once again dips into the state of Georgia. There's very good competition there. You're not, talking about guys who are playing light schedules and putting up those numbers. I mean, that's always a good thing to see. It's a terrific pipeline into the state of Georgia. And, you talked about Chad Morris. Maybe it's a little bit also that it's no longer the dirt raid, right? The Clemson offense is no longer led by an offensive coordinator who's a air raid disciple, and that may bring a little bit of an easier path to kind of have these guys come in. CJ Spiller certainly been through recruiting as a player, and perhaps twice, if you hear, believe what some of the stories that are out there, and very credible that his car was seen, right outside the football offices one day in Gainesville at University of Florida, and they managed to not have him transfer away after that freshman year. He grew up right near Stone's Throw from UF and from Gainesville, Florida. Be sure to subscribe at youtube.com/Clemson Kickoff. It's free. It's the best place to catch all our episodes, and it's the best place for you to comment with your reactions. This is Gary Walker's show. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted with past history, but we do like to bring all that in. Exactly. And Walker has that ability to be kind of a little James Davis, a little CJ Spiller, if you will. He can get into open space and do work and just cover the field, whereas he can also make sure that he doesn't let that first bit of contact bring him down. The trick now is going to be for CJ Spiller to develop him on the fly once he gets to campus and to have him succeed. And I think we saw good strides out of Gideon Davidson late in the season last year. So I think that the pairing can be a very good one between Spiller and Walker to see him succeed as a Tiger.
Yeah, and the offensive line recruiting has to continue to
Yep.
improve, which I think it has. I really do think you'll start to see that help this offense. Now, does it fit better with what Matt Luke does and wants to do with what Chad Morris does and wants to do? Maybe. I mean, there's been a lot of talk out there that what Matt Luke recruits didn't fit well with Garrett Riley. I'm not enough of an X's and O's expert and I'm not an X's and O's expert to be able to say that that's the case. But whatever Clemson was doing last year did not work.
Right.
And it started to work more at the end of the season. But Bill, even when they've won games, it's hard, right? I mean, it is hard. It's a slog. It's where's that explosive offense that we used to see from Clemson that put up 40 points and 50 points and sometimes 60 points, whatever, and put up a lot of yards and everything looked easy and they made it easy for the quarterback. Well, that's what I think the offense is going to be. And that you have to run the ball to do that. You can't stand back there and throw the ball 50, 60 times a game and win a bunch of games. You might win one here or there, but you've got to be able to run the football to win at the highest level in college football, at any level of football. I will die on that hill. You got to run the ball and you got to stop the run. And last year, Clemson could not run the ball. It was one of the worst Clemson running games we've ever seen. And they've got to get back to recruiting guys like this. And that's what I think Gary Walker can help with that.
Yeah, we praised Adam Randall a lot for his effort and for,
Yes.
doing the best he could in the first year coming in, but the scheme just wasn't there. I don't think the O-line was really there. And it's really a relief to see that, no offensive lineman committed yet for 2027, but you've got the quarterback in place now, you've got the running back in place. You had a receiver in place already, and then a couple hours after Gary Walker, we will also cover this commitment coming up soon. Jamarian Simmons out of Tallahassee, Florida, will be the second receiver that's in that class. So four guys on the offensive side out of the ball. I believe it's 10 commitments total at this point. We'll get that nailed down for sure in the Simmons episode. Things are really starting to take shape. And once you start getting those big guys up front, also as a part of this class, you can really see how the offense is going to operate. Even if Walker and Simmons and Hughley aren't going to be the trio in 2027, you can see where it could kind of start to take shape for 2028. They'll both have some guys to work alongside for a year or two, and then to take the leadership roles as they move forward. And I certainly see that ability in Gary Walker. You mentioned, yeah, there were a couple other guys that maybe Clemson had wanted but didn't get. There's also some reporting that one of those guys Clemson didn't really keep pursuing for very long, and that one of the hints that I saw out there is Walker was really their guy. And I know that you were talking to somebody as well, and that kind of seemed to be the implication there. That it was going to line up, and it certainly did. And there was a lot of uncertainty about what day for a long time. It turned out to be today. There was a lot of uncertainty about what time. It turned out to be noon. And we are glad to bring this to you same day. I wish we could do both of these in one day. Hopefully we'll see how close I can get, but hopefully we'll get Jamarian Simmons up very soon as well. Any last thoughts of like what that running back room is going to look like in a couple of years? Because you've got for this season, you've got Gideon Davidson as a sophomore, you've got Chris Johnson Jr. as a junior. That's going to be the 1-2 punch this year. If that were to continue for another season, then you would have Gary Walker in sort of that three running back rotation. And under Tony Elliott, even with Travis Etienne, he now that he's in New Orleans, he's willing to go with the Etienne pronunciation, and back on his home turf there. He went to high school in Louisiana. Do you think that that can be a very good three running back rotation if all those guys stay on campus for 2 years, and that Chad Morris would be able to handle that the way that Tony Elliott juggled it so well?
I do, and I Bill, the thing I like the most about it is I think there's some variety in those guys.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of repetitive skills in those three guys. So, I mean, look, I think Davidson's a really good running back. He's not a speedster like Johnson. I mean, Johnson can absolutely fly.
Right.
Okay, Gary Walker's a little bigger than them, and is more of a, he can go, but he's got to, somebody's got to bring him down, and they're not able to do that as much. Gideon's more of a combo guy. I think Gideon's more like James Davis. I really do.
Hmm.
I kind of see that in his game, but I just like the variety of the three running backs. And if they can get the offensive line straightened out, keep them healthy, protect the quarterback, give Chris Vizina or Tate Reynolds, whoever is the starting quarterback, by the end of the season and then going into next year, give them some help. I think you could start to see this offense start to click again. I think the receivers are there. And it feels, and again, like you said, we'll talk about the new receiver coming up. But no, I think the variety of those three running backs is what really intrigues me.
On that note, we will say uh, it's good to see this recruiting class coming together the way that it is. It's good to see someone with Walker's talents join it. We're going to try to get through a little profile like this on all of the commits. We've tried that before. We didn't quite get all the way through, but we have also succeeded on that in the past. And so we will be sure to do as many of these as possible. Stay with us here at the Reign Supreme All podcast. We also will keep you up on breaking news. We've still got a deep dive that we're in the middle of, a 3-part series. We posted 2 of them. Once we get through these 2 big recruits, we will get the 3rd part posted as well. So there's a lot going on. All of a sudden, it's not such a quiet off season as we recommend, as we referenced, I should say, in one of those deep dive episodes. So looking forward to it. And until our next episode, I'm Bill Zimmerman.
I'm Daniel Shirley. Go Tigers.